In this video, I'm going to be showing you how to write your own methods, and it's really going to help you take your coding to the next level if you're just learning. And let's get started. So right now my application just has the main method. We can see this is the method, and this piece of code gets executed whenever I run my application. Nothing new. We've seen this in the videos in the past, and it says press the enter key to exit the application. Okay, so let's go ahead and type our method in line 15, and we're going to copy a little bit off of line 6. We're going to type the exact same thing. So we're going to type static void, and then we're going to name our method. This can be anything you would like. I'm going to go ahead and name mine greeting, and then open and close empty parentheses, and then open and close curly braces. And the curly braces are going to be whatever's inside the curly braces is going to be the body of the method. And so anytime we call the method, this piece of code, the body of the method is going to be executed. Okay, so for right now, I'm going to write console.writeLine howdy. Okay, very well. Let's go ahead and run our program, and nothing really changes. Why? Well, we never called our method. It's been written, but we need to call it. Well, let's go ahead and go into the body of the main method, and we're going to go ahead and call our new method called greeting. How you call the method is the exact same way as referencing the name that you gave it, and just open and close parentheses and then semicolon. That's it. Let's go ahead and run our application. And check it out. It says howdy. All right, very cool. We can go ahead and actually call it many times as we want. Well, let's go ahead and run this one more time. And there we go. And that's really, really nice. We can go ahead and create another one. I'm going to say this one's called goodbye. Static void goodbye. Console.writeLine goodbye. Okay, so here I'm calling my greeting method and I'm calling my goodbye method. Let's run the program, and I bet you know what's going to happen. It says howdy and goodbye, and that's all there is to it. You can write your own method, and then the method will execute the code in its body. Now, what's kind of nice is then you can start to structure your code a little bit better. Let's go ahead and place these two lines into a method. Let's call it end game because it's the end of the application. Whoops, I forgot void. And let's go ahead and type end game. Let's run our application, and you can see it says howdy, goodbye, and then press the enter key to exit the application. Nothing really changed for the end user once again, but our code has changed in the way that we wrote it, and it's a lot nicer. If somebody actually came in here to, well, let's say, work on this application, they would look at the code. The methods are really written in a way that they are descriptive, and they would know really where to look. So if there was a bug, if somebody reported a bug with the greeting, they would say, hey, you know what? We've noticed that there's a bug in the greeting. For some odd reason, it says howdy instead of welcome. Can you go ahead and change that to howdy? If a new developer comes in, he's going to be like, oh, I bet it's in this method, obviously. So let's go ahead and go to that method. You can right click on a method as well, and then go to the definition or press F12, and it takes you straight to that code. Okay, so you can highlight it and then press F12, and it takes you directly to that method's body. Okay, so this is very, very cool. Like that's how you write your own method. There's 3 parts to it though. Ignore the static right now for now. I'm going to cover that when we talk about objects and classes for a future video, but just know for now you always got to type static if you want to create your own methods. And void means that the method is not returning any value. Okay, So with methods, you can also return a value, okay? So right now it's void. It's not going to return anything. We're just going to execute the code and that's it. And then it has a name, just like a variable. And we've done that. You can see it says static, void because it does not return anything, and now it has a name. What about returning something though? Well, let's give it a shot. Let's say we wanted to return a name. Let's say we have a string and we want a name. We're going to name this method getName. Okay. So let's go ahead and write that method. Remember, it's going to be static. In this case, we're going to return, instead of void, we're going to return a string. And then we're going to say getName, open and close curly braces, for the body of that method. And this red squiggly line here is going to stay on until Visual Studio knows that we're returning a string, okay? And so here I'm just going to say return Bob. And so anytime I want to get a name and I call this method, it's going to return Bob. So let's go ahead and console.writeLine name, start the application, and we can see that our methods are being executed. Welcome, goodbye, Bob, and then press enter. Press the enter key to exit the application. So it's looking very nice. But one thing you might have noticed is I didn't use a method for this line 11 that outputs the name of Bob. So what I could do is I can create another method that does that. And we'll say my name. Okay, and I keep forgetting the void. But in this case, we're going to go ahead and write console, WriteLine. I'm going to copy this. And then name. Oh, but notice something. We don't have access to this variable. Now, this is very important because if you're working inside of a method, this block of code only has references to whatever's inside of line 17 through 19. And so it can't really reference this name. So how do we fix that? Well, we're going to go ahead and add what's called an argument to this method, okay? And arguments can later be used as parameters. And so inside of the open and close parentheses, I'm going to say, well, I want to go ahead and set an argument for this method. And first of all, it's going to want to know what type of data is coming in, just like assigning a variable. We're going to say it's a string, and we're going to give it a temporary name. In this case, we're just going to say its name. And that's it. Now the name can be referenced inside of the method's body. Now, the only thing we have to do is we need to make sure that when we call that method, we provide this parameter. This argument becomes a parameter when we call that method. And so the parameter is going to be name. So let's go ahead and say my name, open and close curly braces, and we're going to provide a name. If we don't provide a name, we're going to get an error. It says there's no argument given to the that corresponds to the required formal parameter name. Okay, so we're going to give it the argument, which the argument's a name, and the parameter here is name. I think I was saying those backwards. So when you write it, you'll hear that word. Yeah, I was saying it backwards. So apologies about that. So it's called a parameter when you actually write the definition of the method. So if your boss came to you and said, I need you to write a method that takes one parameter of type string and it's going to represent a name, then when you write the method, you refer to this as a parameter. So the parameter of the method is a string with a label of name. When you actually give it the value in code and you're actually using the method, it's called an argument. So you'll hear that as well. So the argument in this case would be name. Okay. Which they can be different. They could be labeled different on line 10 and line 17. We know this is going to be a name, but we could just say user's name here, or username. The only thing is when we provide the argument, it's got to be whatever the argument's name is, username. Okay, so this name can be different. It's just there as a temporary name. So let's go ahead and run this. We are calling this method and we are providing the argument username for the parameter name. Let's run this. And you can see it says welcome, goodbye, and Bob. Press the enter key to exit the application. Again, nothing has changed for the end user, but our code is structured a bit different. And it's a lot cleaner, right? You can create as many methods or as many parameters as you would like. So I can say, well, I want another parameter, and that parameter is going to be their age. For now, we'll say it's a string, and I can go ahead and provide another argument and say 35. Now I'm going to say name is age old. And so here we have two parameters, name and age, and then we have two arguments, username and the string 35, which I just wrote in. So let's go ahead and run this. Welcome, goodbye. Bob is 35 years old. Press the enter key to exit the application. And there you go. Now just practice, write your own methods, have fun with this, and keep calling them in your main method here. And let me know what you guys think about the video. Hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. I'm going to be creating more videos that'll go more in depth into these subjects. Until next time, guys. Bye-bye.